There we go. And we are back live once again Tuesday morning. Wow, the 20th of October. Crazy. All right. So we're taking a little minute because I know some of us are showing up a little bit late today. In the meantime, hydration, a little bit of water. And of course, for me, in the morning, especially a rainy day like today, when it's dark and gloomy, gonna need some coffee. All right. I know George 1 and his wife over here, George 2, George Jr., they both really love this weather, but man, some of us, it's a little bit tough. All right, we're saying good morning. Good morning. All right, so obviously we're going to do our stretches today. Head to toe as always, right? We got a couple of fun ones, a couple of ones we haven't done, but some that you're really going to enjoy. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so as always, you know we like to do our pencil stretch, right? So this time, remember, we used to, when we started before, we started with our feet wide apart, right? But now we're getting a little bit better at it. We're going to step it up a little bit, okay? So we're going to bring our feet in together like that. Now your knees don't have to touch, right? I mean, you don't have to squeeze your legs super tight together, just your feet together, and that'll be as straight as you can get, okay? Now we're going to have our hands come up. Remember, neutral position. This is pronated. That is supinated, neutral, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Neutral position. Bring the arms up, 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 up. Good, right? So we're as close to the head as we can get. Now we touch our hands, right? So you can't see it because I'm huge and tall, but hands are together above the head, right? To really get that stretch. Now, come back down, nice and slow. If you can't get those hands together, that's fine, right? It's understandable. Some people have a little bit of tightness in the shoulders. You do as good as you can possibly do. But today you have to make sure you do this part because this is new. You can do this. Trust me, you can do this, right? Now, you might need to be near something in case you feel unstable, but for the most part, you can do this, okay? Now, oh my gosh, sorry. I know live TV, but there's a little fluff on the floor, and I thought it was a giant spider. I'm not gonna lie. Whew! I'm very happy that that was not a giant spider. Because I might be big, but it doesn't mean I'm okay with spiders. I hate those things. All right, there we go, just like that. Good stuff. Nice, good job. Now, you're gonna get yourself a towel. We're gonna need another shoulder exercise. You can get a towel. You can get something like a broomstick type thing, right? A dowel, whatever you want to use. I'm gonna use this only because the towel is gonna block the view of what I'm doing a little bit. So I'm gonna use this to keep it out of the way. But you can use whatever you're gonna use. That's gonna help keep your hands in this position. So the reason we're doing this is the muscles used to move your arm when your hand is pronated, okay, versus neutral are different. So the neutral position, we're doing the pencil stretch, we're trying to get it up by our ears and push up, 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 right? So if I was to pronate my hand, that would be a little bit harder. In this situation, we want them to be pronated to loosen different muscles, okay? So now we're just going to bring it up. Now, you're going to go as high as you can go, right? The idea is we're going to eventually get higher and higher and higher. Now, if you can go all the way, you don't go past here, right? You have to make sure you're comfortable. We don't want to bend our back to start, right? We don't want to bend to get there. Keep our back straight. We bring the arms up, and that's as far as you're going to go. Because you can see if I push any further, my back's going to bend, right? So we don't want that. We're just going to hold that. Right? We're stretching out those muscles. Now what that does is that helps encourage if you have an arm that's a little bit weaker than the other. So let's say one arm that you can't lift much past here, but the other arm you can get up to here. Okay? What it's going to do is it's going to help share the load of this arm. Because your body, everything is very connected, your body likes to help, right? So that's why whenever you sit down, when you're working out, yes, you're focusing on your quads, but when you sit down naturally, you got a whole system at work, right? You got the calves working, you got this, you got the quads, you got the hamstrings, you got the glutes, you got the back, everything's all working together, right? Same thing with this. So everything is connected up here. We're going to make sure that we take advantage of that to help encourage that movement. There we go. Right, now we focus a lot often on shoulders. Right? Why do we always have to focus on the shoulders? When you say upper body, like, geez, Chris, you do a lot of shoulder stuff. The reason being the society we live in, and I don't mean just modern times. I mean for the past 200 years, right? A little bit less so if you lived on the farm, but you think about since we were in elementary school, at school, right? It was this. It was head down. How many people have you hear the term or use the term, get your head down, put your head down and plow through it? Right? Well, we've been rolling ourselves forward all of our lives. School, work, typewriters, right? Always writing, always bent over something, right? And then even our chairs and our couches encourage us to slouch. So we want to get these shoulders. A lot of us have tightness and internal rotation of the shoulders. We really need to push on getting it back so that your neutral position is proper posture. Okay? So this time we are going to need the towel, because you know this one. We did this last time, right? So we're going to do one of two ways. Two separate and different stretches, okay? So one, you're going to keep this arm straight, and you're going to pull it behind your body, right? So you're not bending the elbow. You keep the arm straight. So it's going to keep you from going too far. If you pull, you don't want to just do this and be like, oh, well, that was easy, right? Keep the arm straight, little pull, and now you're going to feel the stretch. And you should be feeling, I'm going to go and hold the position manually, but you should be feeling the stretch right just here at the top, lower part of the trapezius, the anterior deltoid, a little bit in the mid deltoid, okay? That's where you should be feeling that. Good. Now we're going to do the other side. Same thing, keeping that arm straight. Right? And remember, now that you've gotten in that position, you relax into that stretch. You're not pulling so hard that you're pushing yourself into a pain situation. You want to feel the stretch. Relax. Okay? And that's it. I realize I hold it longer than you need to hold it most of the time because I'm talking. And I talk a lot if you know me. All right, I'm going to try this one again, okay? So, again, arm straight, okay? And we're just going to shift that over. And once you feel that stretch, okay, I feel it, good. Now we're going to relax. So you let go of that shoulder tension, right? It's important because we have a lot of tension in our lives, right? And a lot of it manifests in our muscles. When you hear stories of people having heart attacks because of stress, and all right, sorry, I had to switch to the other side just mid-sentence, so hope you're watching. People have heart attacks because of stress, but why is that? Stress isn't a tangible thing. It's not something that we can see or touch, or it's just anxiety and a mental state that causes us to have a heart attack. That's crazy, right? But that's what it is. So these tensions, whether it be stress, whether it be fatigue, all of these things show up, they manifest in your body, right? That's why you can be tired and be a little bit stiffer than if you were well rested, right? So your body will react to how you feel. So, make sure we loosen the stretches. When we get into a stretch, you're going to feel your body resisting because we've spent so much of our time tight and resisting, right? Relax and let it go. It's important, right? Now, we're going to accentuate that shoulder a little bit more now, okay? So this one's a little bit harder. The reason we're doing two is because some people found this second level we did last week a little bit hard. So we gave an introductory huffer, let's say, okay? So this one, you're going to keep your elbow in position. And now you are going to bend your arm. back behind. Right? Just like that. Good. And now relax, right? You'll feel that tension. You'll feel your body resisting. Deep breath is a good way to get you to relax. Right? That's why you hear a lot of, remember, release slowly. Good. We don't pop it out, right? We don't let it pop. Good. That's why you hear a lot of yoga specialists talk about deep breathing exercises, right? If you're doing yoga properly, and I don't mean those $5 yoga classes, that you can get, that just hot yoga and all this stuff. They don't teach you, they just teach you the movement. They don't teach you the principles behind yoga. Yoga is very much relaxation, right? So the first thing a good yoga professor is going to teach you is how to breathe. Good. Just like that. Shoulders are done. Piece of cake. How you feeling? Y'all feeling okay? Probably not. You're like, oh my God, I was so stiff. I can't believe I did that. That's okay. All right. Now, another thing we're going to focus on due to our fancy computer world. So a lot of us have tension here in the forearms. They're not carpal tunnel yet, but they could be. Carpal tunnel is an issue that comes out of nowhere. Okay? You'll have it, and then all of a sudden you get these sharp pains, and then it'll go away, and you'll be fine. And then you get a sharp pain, and then it'll go away, and you'll be fine. But what you're doing is you're actually causing damage and issue over time. So each time it flares up, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until it will not go away. Now, where I'm going to use George over here. Say hello, George. Right? So I don't know if you can see this, because we bought a new camera, by the way, so next week it's going to be a lot better. But you have tendons, okay? You have two sets. You have some that run from the bottom of the palm down into the arm, and you have some that go from the tips of the fingers down to the bottom of the wrist, okay? So these guys here, which move the wrist, run down the arm, right? Which is why you could squeeze your arm and your hand will move, right? Now you have these guys from the tips of the fingers, they also run down the arm, but they stop a little bit short. They just stop a little bit past the wrist, okay? So you want to move the fingers, squeeze up by the wrist, right? And you can actually move your fingers. We want to stretch this guy up, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Hands together, elbows up. Elbows up is important because you don't want to be this. This will be not comfortable position. With the elbows, right? So as if your elbows are exactly where they're supposed to be, right? We're just moving. There we go. Good. Now we're going to slowly, gently bring our hands down, keeping the palms together. If your palms separate, then you're going too far. You're not flexible enough yet, right? Because some of you might start and be like, whoop, if I go any further than this, my palms are going to separate. That's okay, right? We just want to get to that stretch where we keep the palms together. Whatever level it is that you feel that stretch, keep those palms together. And we just hold it. There we go, right? So from the side, this is what I'm looking like. Okay? This will also work. But this will cause a tension on your rotator cuff. So this is a little bit better in that sense. But if you're comfortable doing it like this and it works, then it shouldn't be an issue. Right? The importance is that you feel the stretch here. Right? And that's how you deal with the carpal tunnel. You're going to feel it in your hand too, for sure. You're going to feel it in your fingertips. But that's okay. It's all part of the same system. All right, we're going to do that one again. Ready? Okay, here we go. All right, keeping our elbows out. Right, because imagine now that you've seen the full exercise, look how far I got to get to my elbows. Right? Your elbows are going to be pushed out anyway. So we'll start with the elbows nice and neutral. So as if, there you go. Like you're, yeah, like you're praying, you know. All right, hands together. And now we're going to add that tension. Right? And we're just going to hold that. Doing great. Fantastic. Nice and easy. All right, so that helps really not just stretch out for today, but make more flexible over time. Those, right? Because you can do this as a relief exercise, right? You just do this to relieve that tension. But we want to build it over time so that it doesn't flare up at all. Okay? Good. I hope that was good. How'd that feel? Good? All right, perfect. So now we're going to work on the trunk, okay? We're not going to worry about the chest today. Yes, we have chest opening exercises, but today we're going to work a little bit more on the twisting motion. And of course, we're going to stretch out our back, which everybody loves. And why don't we change the way we focus things? Mainly, I'm trying to give you guys a whole lot of options to fit with what you might be suffering with. So please send me emails, send me comments, whatever it is, to give me tips. If you're looking to stretch out something specific, guys, and say, listen, Chris, I got a tight shoulder, I got a tight hip, whatever it is, listen, send me a message, let me know, and I will include it in one of the next upcoming videos. Okay? So, we're going to work on the trunk. What we want to do is we want to encourage, so the spine is made to move. Okay? Now, it's very tricky to find a good balance that is going to make the spine move without putting tension on the spine, right? Because we don't want the spine to suffer. We want to strengthen the back muscles so that you don't have back pain. But if you have back stiffness, often it's the muscles. So we're going to stretch out the muscles, but we still need to encourage movement of the spine. Your spine is made to move, right? George is made of plastic. His spine doesn't move. We are not, right? So our spine's supposed to be able to move. What we want to do is we want to avoid it taking the load of weight, okay? So this will address multiple things. So we're going to have our hands up. We call these the snake charmers, okay? So elbows up. Remember, if your elbows are down, you see how it rolls my shoulders forward. So we get those elbows up. Back nice and straight. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn as far to one side as you can without pulling the hips over. You're going to feel that point. We go nice and slow. Don't go fast. Do not go, don't go fast. Slow. And you're going to feel that point to where your body wants to pull your hips over. Sure, I might be over here, but you could be here. And you're going to feel that point. You're like, oh, okay, my hips want to join. That's where you stop. And deep breath. Right? There we go. Let's try the other side. There we go. Nice. So now you're stretching out your sides and you're stretching out here, right? Which are your erector spinatus, which help you stand up, right? Erector being straight, spinatus being spine, right? Very simple. So, again, you'll see it from the back. This is one of the rare times I'm going to turn my tush towards the camera. But you're going to see how my back twists, right? So, you get that nice twist. But if you can see right here, right, the twist in the shirt is happening up here because I'm not turning my hips, right? So we want just up here. There we go. Good. Deep breath. Relax. Other side. Perfect. All right. Just like that. Easy. Time to hydrate, everybody, because it's a rainy day. Coffee and water. Technically, water is more important. I just love coffee. All right. So now the part that everyone's waiting for is that nice back stretch, that one and only time, a rare time that you get to bend your back around me, right? Everyone's always excited about it. People are shocked by that. But okay. So remember, we're going to do this together because you should know this by now, but we're going to stay together on it, okay? So we just pop the knees slightly. Now, listen, your feet in this one don't need to be together. You want to be comfortable and you want to feel stable. If you prefer them together, that's fine too. The importance is your stability and comfort, okay? We pop the knees, which disengages the hamstrings. You're not squatting, right? You're just popping the knees. Good. Now we're going to keep the back straight. We're going to slide down for a while. So a little bit like a deadlift. There we go. From here, we get to bend the back, right? We relax ourselves down. And we just let it hang a bit. All right, deep breath. Nice. Now again, we come up, we put our hands on our knees, and we support, we lift our shoulders up and we support that back. So we're not putting extra tension on the spine. Remember, we want to encourage spinal movement, not for it to take the tension, right? It's not supposed to carry the load. Good. That's very good. How'd that feel? These are some great stretches, by the way. Okay, ready for another one? Here we go. Okay, so slight bend. We slide ourselves down. Good, keeping the back straight. Here we go. We bend it. Now you relax. Good. It's okay if you feel it in the hamstrings. That's all right. What's important is that you feel it in the back. You're going to feel it here because it's all connected, you know. So, good. Support the knees. And up we go. Good job, everybody. Nice. All right, so now we're going to stretch out the glutes. Again, we're going to use the towel to encourage if we're lacking a little bit of flexibility, okay? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to wrap it around your leg. You're going to hold on to something, and you're just going to do this. Now, the important thing is that your knee is pointing towards the ground, okay? You don't want to be like this, right? Because that's going to put, and if you have knee issues, everybody, be very careful when doing this. It doesn't put tension on your knee because you have a relaxed leg. But what it will do is it'll force that knee into a bend that's pretty extreme. So you can try it, right? Don't ever not try it, right? Just go slow and see where your spot is. And don't push yourself past where you're pain. So that's the thing that I think a lot of us suffer with, right? We have these fears that, oh, by the way, guys, if you're feeling you want a really deep stretch, right? You're holding it up, bring your knee back a bit. You're not bending forward, you're just bringing your leg back a bit, and that's going to add some deeper stretch. But, you know, one of the things we suffer with is this fear that, geez, I can't really do that. So you know what? I'm just not going to try. And unfortunately, the fitness industry is a bit of an enemy for that because they always show, what you always see is videos and Instagram posts of everyone doing it, and they're doing it like they're a champ and they're an Olympic athlete, and you got to be just like them, which is not true. It's a scam. You don't, right? You're not going to be. There's 7 billion people. How many times do you say it? 7 billion people in the world, and no two are the same. So what you need to do is not necessarily follow them. I mean, what you need to do is you need to take yourself and adjust things for you, right? So this is where a guy like me comes in handy, right? Because we have issues that these people can't see. So if I have internal rotation, and this person is doing crazy military press, but my shoulders aren't, you're going to hurt yourself. Right? So you really need to make sure that we're doing things that are right for you, not what's right for them, right? As in the Instagram people. So don't worry about it if you're not doing it perfectly, if you're not doing it 100%, right? Don't worry if your stretch can only be, let's say, half of what I can achieve as far as depth. And I'm not that flexible, right? So you can probably get as far as I can get, right? Because, again, I've had an issue, right? So I was on give you a little backstory. I had an injury on this foot, which put me in a boot. And that boot, God, it must have been 5 years. I mean, I wore out the straps on that thing, okay? So that put this foot into an imbalanced position, right, to hold me up. So because I was walking like Frankenstein for 5 years, essentially what happened is my hamstrings got so tight in order to add that stability, because how are you going to be stable on one leg, got so tight to add that stability I've been working now for a while to fix that. So it's a long journey, but it's okay. We're fine. So speaking of hamstring, it is that time. We're going to do a hamstring stretch. Now, I'm going to do this standing. For those of you who are able to do it, we can do a little bit of adjustments for those who might have issues, okay? So the key is, remember the leg is nice and straight. And that back is straight. So you should already feel a bit of a hamstring stretch, right? And then you're just bending forward. Now look at my back's still straight. Right? And you're going to feel the hamstring stretch. So, for those of you who might not be able to do that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this cabinet because you want something high enough and stable enough. Like, you look at this. It's kind of wonky. Right? We're going to put my foot, and it's a joke. It's light as hell, right? So, if you're on something that's light, and whoop, you lose your balance, that's not going to help, right? So, you want something like this you can lean forward onto. That is going to help. So, remember, not too high. If you're too high, you're going to feel it in the knee. Remember that. So, just a toe up on that. Perfect. Your hands are going to be up here, back straight. Okay? And now you're just going to lean forward. And you should feel it the length of that whole hamstring. If you're feeling it in the knee more than in the entire section, because you should feel the tension the entire way equally, okay? If you're feeling it more in the knee, your toe is too high. Bring that toe down a bit, okay? And then we just get that bend. Remember to keep that back straight. Now, it looks funny, right? So if you're doing this from the living room window, people might be looking in, but that's okay, because you're going to be flexible and they're not. So don't worry about how it looks. Right? I used to, I'll tell you a little story. I have an exercise for stability that I give people. That's doing curls on one foot. So I was at the gym one time, and these are things that I use on myself, right? So I'm sitting there, I got my curls, okay? Well, yeah, don't do that after you stretch your hamstring, right? I'm up on one toe, I'm on one leg, I'm doing my curls. And this guy comes up and says, what are you doing? I'm like, well, it's for stability. He's like, why? I said, well, you have stabilizing muscles. They're important, you know? The guy, he doesn't believe me. I said, okay, try it. Now, this guy's pretty, like, you can tell it doesn't work out well because he only has, like, the big arms and the big chest. His back's weak, right? So anyway, he goes up, and he can't. He can't even start standing in that position, right? Because he's never done that before. So, don't worry about what the haters are going to say. You are going to be in better shape doing something like this, right? In this odd pike, half pike keister sticking out position than the people who don't. So don't worry about the haters, is the point of that little story. All right. Dude, remember to keep that back straight. You're not bending your back. So if you're bending your back, you're like, oh, this is easy. I can do this all day. No, back straight. Good. And remember, we're relaxing. We're not pushing through. So my hands are not, like I'm not pushing myself down. These are holding me up. Right? So everything should be relaxed, except for maybe your arms that are holding you up. Okay, listen, guys, we're almost done. We got calves, we got ankles, and then we'll call it a day. Okay? So, calf stretch. Now we're going to throw a little fancy something in here for you people a little bit advanced, okay? But the calf stretch, what you want to do is get into this position so your back leg is nice and straight and your foot is flat on the ground. If you are so far that your heel is off the ground, so let's say you decide I'm going to go really wide and your heel's off the ground, you're going to hurt your Achilles tendon. So do not do that. Right? Nice and comfortable, nice and stable. Good. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to lean forward until you feel the stretch. Some of you might need to hold on. Okay? And that's fine. But the back has to be straight. Right? So you're not going to come like this and then hold on this way. That's no good. Right? Back straight, come down. And you'll see that there's a line running from my shoulders right down to my foot, right? So you could lean a piece of wood up against me and it would be the same thing. And that's what you want. You want that nice straight line. Okay? Good. Let's do the other side. Right, nice straight line. Good job. Now, those of you who don't need the stability, right? You do it like this. Keeping the back straight. Now, remember guys, just to bring it up, every day is different. You might be able to do it one day without holding on. And then the next day, you have to hold on. It's okay. It happens because, like it or not, people have bad days, right? People have off days. Your body is an intricate system that for the most part, you don't have control over, right? There's hormones going on. There's a bunch of organs that work all the time, right? You have a central nervous system. It's going to do what it's going to do. I mean, you don't have to think about breathing. You just breathe, right? You don't have to think about pumping your heart. It just does. So these things that are always happening will have an effect on you. Remember that Canadian athlete, that hurdler? She was like the best in the world. She was winning race after race after race after race. And then she made it to the Olympics, right? Remember this? First hurdle, boom, trips on the hurdle, plows into somebody else, it's over, right? So everyone has bad days, everyone, okay? So here we go. Now we're going to do, for those of you who need to hold on the second one, you're going to hold on again. But for those of you a little bit more advanced, we're going to enter what's called a warrior pose, which is a little bit fun, okay? So get ourselves, same thing on the bottom, not too wide, okay? Remember guys, your feet should be here. You're not trying to do this. Not balance beam, right? Nice and stable. Okay, here we go. You ready? This is going to be fun, okay? So we lean forward. Good, you got that position? Perfect. Now we do the part two, okay? We bring the arms up. There we go. Right, so now you're adding your pencil stretch top portion into this, right? And that is the warrior pose, folks. Nice. That's part one anyway. There's 3 parts to it. But that was fun, right? Do something a little bit extra. Okay. Try this again, okay? So we get stable. All right, you feel good. Perfect. Part one. Very nice. And part two. There we go. Good. Just like that. Amazing. You guys are doing great today. For a rainy Tuesday, you guys are doing awesome. Oh my God, half an hour. Wow. There's a lot of work today, huh? Okay. There we go. A couple of ankle circles and then we'll be done. Today we're going to pin the toe down. Okay, and here's why. I know we were talking about how having it not pinned will encourage more movement. But some of us are a little stiff in the ankle position. So having it pinned will force that ankle to do a lot more twisting. All right, so let's just get it going. There we go, one on each side. I mean, this is easy cleanup, right? It just a bunch. Yeah, like I said, we do 10. Hold on if you need to. There's no stress in this one, right? You're not going to get any, because you're focusing on your ankle. What happens is a lot of times people will do stretches and exercises. They'll make it harder on themselves. So they'll be here, but instead of focusing on the ankle, they're, well, I'm going to worry about my stability. And then their ankle is not being done. Don't worry about it. We're not showing off. Hang on to something. Focus on the ankle. That's it. And the other way. You guys should let me know if any of you ever hear like Rice Krispies when you turn your ankles? Hear that like a bunch of cracking and popping? Anyway, if you're not commenting, it should be because you're doing these right now. All right, now the other way. Good job. Perfect. So that's it, everybody. done for the day, head to toe. Hope you're feeling good and flexible and energized now because you got the blood pumping a little bit. All right, so that's always a good way to start the day off nice and positive, especially on a rainy day like this. Guys, I know it's tough. You just want to nap all day and it's hard, right? Movement will help. So even if you're stuck inside, get up and walk around your house a little bit, right? If you have a nice big umbrella, go for a little bit of a walk, maybe around the block, something simple. Just get that blood going because that's going to keep you motivated throughout the day. Otherwise, you're going to want to sleep all day. Rainy days are really hard. So try to enjoy the day. Tomorrow will be a lot brighter. And now I'm going to come up here with that awkward sign off, as always, my giant head. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.